Central Park in Vav Cheshvan, catching the tail end of a beautiful day in the park. And I'm Chaim Alevsky, and we're going to learn something today, something really cool. And it's actually still related to the High Holy Days because I just can't get it out of my head. It's such a beautiful thought that I don't want to leave the High Holy Days behind without sharing it. Something that moved me deeply, and I hope you'll take it and share it with everyone you know. So, within one of the many mitzvot of the high holidays, one of the central mitzvot of Sukkot is that we take the four kinds: the lulav, the esrog, the hadass, and the aravah. Translated, four kinds are: the lulav is the palm branch, the esrog is the citron fruit, the hadass is the myrtle, and the aravah is the willow. Now we have something an incredible lesson. There's so many lessons about these things, but the most commonly known understanding of why we take these four kinds are that each of these four kinds, aside from the biblical obligation, that each of these four kinds represents a different kind of person, a different kind of Jew, a different kind of person. And when we take them all together, we demonstrate unity, that we're all one, and we are only valid when we're all united as one. Now, what are these kinds? So starting from the top of the hierarchy of the value of the people, if we can put a value on a person, is that each one has a different variable of taste and smell. So the esrog has both taste and smell, and taste represents knowledge because we digest things and we internalize them like we digest food. Smell represents aroma, represents good deeds, as when we do something good, it helps, benefits others, just like a pleasant aroma does. So different fruits and species, whatever they have inside of them, they represent the kind of person who has those values. So taste, esrog represents the perfect person who's got taste and smell. It's one who excels in both good deeds and academics and Torah study. The lulav has only taste, not on its own, but it's actually from a date palm tree. Getting through a race over here in Central Park. Okay, so moving on. So then we have the lulav that represents someone who excels in academics, Torah study. The hadass, the myrtle branch, represents somebody who has a really good smell. I use it for our bisamim and havdalah. It works out really well. That represents somebody who has good deeds, who excels in good deeds. And the aravah, the willow branch, has neither taste nor smell, representing a person who doesn't excel, not in good deeds and not in academics. Okay, now that we have that, we're going to dive into something pretty deep over here. So focus, or watch this again, because I'm going to say it. There's a few different variables over here that fall into play to understand the big picture, and I'm going to throw it at you. So the Torah has the Talmud talks about the mitzvah of the four kinds. So we take them together and we make a blessing and we shake them. And the Talmud says that, and Jewish law says, we're not allowed to add to any of the four kinds. There's one lulav, there's one esrog, there's three hadassim, and two aravot. We're not allowed to add on our own. You can't put two esrogim together or two lulavs together. Can't do that. And the Talmud says the reason why is because there's a biblical prohibition of Bal Tosif. Bal Tosif means that we're not allowed to add to the mitzvah of the Torah. You can't add another mitzvah, and as God prescribed it, that's the way it stays. And you can't add to the mitzvah itself. It has to stay the way God prescribed it. Okay, so now many biblical commentators ask the question, why is it that you can't even add one of the four kinds? We can understand that you can't add a whole set, because the mitzvah is actually to bring all four kinds together. The mitzvah is not to bring one of the four kinds. So if you bring another esrog or another lulav, you're not really adding to the mitzvah. You're just adding a fruit or a branch. What's the big deal? Why can't you add? It would be understandable if you would say that you can't add a complete set, but just one other of the four kinds, they're not mitzvahs on their own, or are they? So this is from the Rugged Chover, a great genius in the previous generation, who was communicated with our Rebbe, from whom I heard this talk. And so the Rebbe quoted the Rugged Chover about asking this question, and he answered that, he explained that there must be something in the world of mitzvahs where these four kinds have their independent value as a mitzvah, in the dimension of mitzvah, that they have their independent value as each one is their own mitzvah, even if they're not combined together in a group as four. So where is that? So looking throughout the whole Jewish tradition and rituals, there's only one place where one of the four kinds is used elsewhere, aside from Sukkot. Do you know where that is? I'll give you 2 seconds to think. Okay, Hoshana Rabbah. On the last day of Sukkot, we actually take the willows, we take 5 willows, and we whip them on the floor, and we go ahead and we circle the bima 7 times in the synagogue. And it's something that's been established way back in the biblical times. So here we have one of the four kinds that is actually a mitzvah, independent of our Sukkot mitzvah. This guy's making noise. Can you see him? I got a little competition in the sky. Where are you? Anyway, back. I hope you can hear me, because I can't hear myself. So the Rebbe, the Rugged Chover, the Rebbe explains that the Rugged Chover Gaon